for this pretending to be a tech channel, stages of using Neovim by Big Box. We love Big Box. Watched a couple of his videos here.
Neovim is a text editor.
Oh god, that's loud. Okay, try that again.
Neovim is a text editor most commonly associated with split keyboards, carpal tunnel, and skill issues.
Yeah, that's how, minus the skill issue, that's how I feel.
2022, I pray to God you're all on Neovim. The DevOps engineers of the real world have built many excellent pipelines. In the same vein as how a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, your favorite gaming streamer blossoms into a right-wing commentator, or how the...
What? Wait, I'm sorry. Why? What? Sorry, I didn't hear that again. Why? I click a video about Neovim. I was not expecting a fucking Asmongold comment.
Forms into a butterfly, your favorite gaming streamer blossoms into a right-wing commentator, or how the Rust developer spawns with blue hair. What was the YAML behind the Thera Code Font Junior developer becoming a yoga ball sitting, split keyboard using, 0 to LSP, Neovimmer? The journey of perpetual... I do actually have a split keyboard. It was sent to me to review. I did a video on it on the channel. I don't use a split keyboard. I use my my Logitech G915. If you look up this keyboard and you look how much it costs, and you're like, wow, Brodie, that's a really expensive keyboard. I didn't pay that. I got it at half price on like a Black Friday. I did not pay $300 Australian for a keyboard. Skill issue starts at awareness. You know of this thing called VIM or Neovim. You're not too sure about the difference, and quite frankly, you don't care. You probably saw a fun Fireship video on it. The mustache man saying something about harpooning a Docker, or Benawad's videos before selling out and becoming a startup founder. It's one of those useless things you kinda learned in college for a semester, and only the kid in a hoodie really understood. By the way, that kid, he works at Jump Trading now. Yeah, shoulda learned Vim. You can use Nano instead when you're working on a server. Sorry, for front-end devs, servers are these things that host code. The people paid more than you code on them. You don't have to worry about them at all. At this stage, you're the noticing Andy. You're noticing that Vim exists and some people use it, but you're still just burning a hole in your chin.
Every time I try to learn Vim, and like learn it properly and learn it like really well, I just give up. I'm just like... I can see how this could be more productive, and I get it, but at the same time, I don't want to spend all the time it would take to become productive in Vim, right? Like, I look at the Primogen and how he interacts with Vim, and like, that's great, that is awesome, but like... How long did it take you to get to the point where you can recite these key combinations with absolutely no issue?
At this point, you're fine with whatever soy milk you're drinking at the moment. That is until you run into an issue at work, and ask Greg for a pair programming session. He closes your repo, opens up Neovim, deletes your suboptimal code, fixes the issue, gets it merged, all before your cursor theme loads up.
If you're using cursor, mate. If you're using cursor, this right here is the true skill issue. Use a fucking real editor.
This brings you to your second stage, coping. You come across
I come back and the first thing I see is men spooning. It's just a normal stream.
Neovim setups. You come across the Linux user space.
Oh god.
You keep getting dunked on in pair programming sessions by Greg, who's been using Vi since 2008. Or put very simply, you're an Emacs user with highway exit pinkies. And hey, maybe you tried using Vim, but you had to restart your computer and ran back to IntelliJ at the slightest inconvenience. So instead of acknowledging your skill issues, you start coping, seething, lying to yourself.
That's where I am.
Why would I ever need to leave my comfortable JetBrains IDE? I can just use my mouse. I'm equally as efficient. I'm just as fast.
This is where I am.
The same nonetheless. Quick reminder, you're not. Studies show that Vim users out-earn and outperform VS Code users on a per capita basis.
Is this a real graph? I have a feeling this is not a real graph.
From the TMB academic
journal. There we go.
At this stage, you're a part-time programmer and a full-time seether, otherwise known as the Emacs user, who still has highway exit pinkies, and is currently typing rage comments while using a keyboard that's propped up vertically. But after many nights spent coping, after many pair programming sessions spent seething, the young programmer stops coping and decides to make a change. As they enter the next stage of their Vimming career, skill issues. You're ready to try what Vim is all about, but not quite yet. Similar to Gen Z and their entire value system, your Vim phobia has transitioned into Vim FOMO induced by social media. You tried just raw dogging Vim, but the default NetRW experience and the blinking cursor of doom perpetually scarred you. and made you crash out harder than Kanye. So you're just gonna use Vim motions in your IDE.
Yeah, that's where I am. Yeah.
And made you crash out harder than Kanye. So
this is absolutely, yeah, this is fully where I am. Not the not Vim emulation. Vim emulation's a bad plugin. If you're gonna use Vim in VS Code, go with this one instead. Where is it? Vim. Yeah. This is the real extension you want. VS Code Vim. You don't want Vim emulation. Vim emulation's buggy and weird. No. You want the one powered by Neovim, because then you can truly say you're actually using Neovim, even though you're actually not.
You're just going to use Vim motions in your IDE, and when it's too hard, you can just do the escape of shame and go back to using the arrow keys and the mouse. Slowly but surely, you start getting good. The home row is etched into your brain. JK goes from just kidding to up, down. Copying and pasting never felt so good. You can delete entire functions within milliseconds. But there's still something missing. Saying I use Vim motions doesn't have the same ring to it. You want the experience. You want to accept a Google Meets call for pair programming, share your screen, look straight into the camera, and whisper softly, Neovim, by the way. Your tech job becomes a hobby, and you become the full-time Neovimmer. You let your boss know you're taking some time off, and the second that gets approved, you open up Terminal and enter the 3 words that'll change the trajectory of your life. Brew, install, Neovim.
Why the fuck are you on a Mac? Use a fucking... use a real computer!
Or Pac-Man apt DNF,
yeah, there
or
we
whatever
go.
Windows users are doing these days. And also, for the love of God, just set the alias for Vim to Neovim. It takes like 3 seconds, just do it now. But despite installing Neovim, the netrw of Doom is still there. So you start looking up the best Neovim configuration. LazyVim, Astro, NVChad, they're all decent options. You pick one and go. And it feels so frickin' good. The power, the pace,
No,
the
it
speed,
feels awful because you have no idea what the bindings are.
all in the palm of your hands. Or the middle row of your keyboard, to be more precise. Or actually in the middle row of your 2 keyboards because you're using a split. You're flicking through files. You're deleting stuff. You're writing the code. Code writes you. You're the text editor. You're being pulled into a meeting with your manager because Neovim, by the way, on every pull request is making code reviews kind of hard.
Yeah.
But not like it matters. Your code doesn't need reviewing. However, as time passes, something feels off. You see, using Neovim pre-configured kind of feels like doing a number 2 at a public bathroom, or rocking the millennial quiff in 2025. It just feels wrong. It feels kind of gross. It doesn't feel like home. So you open up init.lua and get to work. It's at this stage, if you ever had trouble growing facial hair, you'll spawn with an excellent 10 out of 10 mustache that would be the envy of Hulk Hogan. And your keyboard magically splits up overnight like Bangladesh and Pakistan. And the latest issue of Jujutsu...
When was this video uploaded? Okay, it's 8 days ago. That's a timely joke!
Kaizen is shipped straight to your door. The answer to the question, what is the best Neovim configuration, becomes clear. It's yours and every other Neovim config is trash. As the words of TJ DeVries softly plays in the background, Luke Smith disappearing finally starts to make sense. You're ready for the final stage of Neovim, the most complete phase, 0 to LSP. Your Neovim config broke for the 5th time this week, so you do what any rational person would. You give up your big tech job to live on a farm. You throw away all your computers, order a ThinkPad and a System 76 laptop. One for your stable Neovim config, one for writing your...
What is this ThinkPad? That ThinkPad is way too new. No. This is like a modern ThinkPad. What are you even doing? No, you've got to get one. You got to get an X230, something like that. X220.
Neovim config. And what a config it'll be. Harpoon, telescope, custom colors, tree sitter, a bespoke LSP setup that feels like wearing a well-tailored suit. Perfect. You see, while most people joke about the fact that you can't exit Vim, at this stage you realize you never needed to leave Vim. And while you're sitting on your yoga ball, typing your config with your split keyboard, and stroking your luscious mustache, Your Neovim setup breaks once again, and you realize you don't like the color scheme. And you'll need to remap all your bindings. You realize you'll fundamentally never be happy with your Neovim configuration, and you quit to become a farmer. You see, Neovim was a fallacy all along. It was made by big farming to generate more farmers. The word Neovim can literally be rearranged to move in, which means get moving on the farm.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So if you want to go ahead with the programmer to yoga ball to farmer pipeline, why not start with learning to code by using the sponsor of today's video, Boot.dev. Yes, thank you Lane and Boot.dev for funding my Labubu collection.
We love sponsors.
You see, besides having some very cool instructors, Boot.dev isn't just another boring learn-to-code platform you see online.
I don't know how they haven't reached out to me. They reached out to, like, Boot.dev reaches out to fucking gaming channels. How has Boot.dev not reached out to me? I've never gotten an email. Guys, my email is public. Send me an email.
I cannot explain in words how amazing this is. You can learn memory management in C from a core developer on Neovim.
I've seen politics. No, I've seen channels smaller than me. I've seen politics channels. I've seen gaming channels. Someone sent me an email.
Excellent. Plus, they tackle some really hard problems. You see, the biggest problem with learning to code is boredom, but Boot.dev uses mechanics from modern game design to make learning to code fun.
Gotcha coding. Yeah, let's go.
On top of that, it's
we love gambling
that gets you writing code and building projects, which in my opinion is the only way to learn. You can learn a bunch of languages and technologies on Boot.dev, with in-depth courses on TypeScript, Python.
There was even one. Look at that. Learn Linux.
Courses on TypeScript, Python, and Go. The list only.
Oh, do we DC? They probably want higher view counts. Fair. Is the YouTube side fine? Twitch side DC'd. We live? We good? Welcome back.
It keeps getting bigger. Plus, the content on Boot.dev is entirely free. Their paid membership
okay, YouTube was fine the entire time.
Features like hands-on coding, AI assistance, and the game.
Ooh, AI.
So go ahead and get moving, and try the courses at Boot.dev for free. Then use my code BigBoxSui to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Ooh. Thank you so much to Lane and Boot.dev for sponsoring this video and funding my Labubu collection. And thank you for your time. I am Big Box.
That was fun. Can you not recommend me my own videos, YouTube? I know this is a video I would like. That's why I made it. This will impact you. Oh, I think I know. Okay, I think I know what that's about. AI finds 0 day. AI creates 0 day. Okay. Let us. Oh, the parry video. Yeah, the parry video. Oh, we'll get to that one in just a moment. I am lazy with Neovim, right? Like, I have tried to properly learn Neovim. I just need to sit, like, if I actually want to do it, I need to sit down and only use Neovim and intentionally use motions as much as possible and get used to the way things work. Because I'm like there with, like, the basic core structure of the Vim key layout. It's just the reason why you use Vim. I've just not had it click with me, basically. So I guess go watch Prime's video then on too much work, just use edit. I keep hearing edit's actually kind of good. The new window or the new Microsoft I guess new, it's a remake of the old MS-DOS terminal editor. I keep hearing it's actually kind of good. And I'm probably going to do a video on it next week. Anyway, my